But we're gonna let y'all come on in the room, guys. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. As we come on in the room. And turn, let her get a little music. Come get a little music.
Not that song.
Huh? It don't matter. Come on in the room. We're gonna get a little music while people come in the room. We're gonna ask y'all to 404-249-5092. We're gonna go ahead and give y'all the number. 404-249-5092 is the number to call in if you do not want to put your comments in the chat. We do not own the rights to this music, but we're gonna give you guys a minute to come in. We're gonna go ahead and also tell you guys in the midst of this, make sure you guys have downloaded the 105.7 The Phase mobile app. Make sure you are following us on our social media page, 105.7 The Phase, IG and Facebook. But also too, make sure you are following each and every one of us that's on the panel, and we'll give people opportunity to tell you how to follow them and what they have going on later on in the show. Make sure you guys are also, we've been promoting it, go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. Like Zarick said, that way.
That way.
Right.
Subscribe.
That way.
Absolutely.
That way.
That's right. Thank you, intern. Appreciate you. Today, guys, we're gonna have an amazing show. This topic can be very intense. It may be emotional, depending on how dear and true it is to you. We are talking about domestic violence, domestic abuse. So guys, go ahead and tag and share. We all know someone that has been through it, someone, family, friend, or maybe even yourself. So today we are talking about domestic violence, abuse, and crashing out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice topic.
Nice topic. Know that we are being engineered, so like I stated, put your comments in the chat. And also, again, if you want to, go ahead and call us, 404-249-5092. So guys, the one thing I want to talk about first and foremost is about when we talk about domestic abuse and violence, we know it comes in many forms, whether it's physical, mental, or verbal. Absolutely. Thank you, Casey. Emotional, all sorts. And then also too, guys, when we think about domestic, it's not just partners, it's family. You see all the time intimacy as far as family violence, and we group that as domestic as well. And it's so sad that family members, unfortunately, end up, committing violence against one another, where they've been murdered and murdered a family member. It happens, and it's real. And so let's talk about it, guys. Get into it.
It's really real.
What's the start off? What y'all feeling?
I mean, it's so emotional, it's so deep. I'm pretty sure every last one of us has been through some type of domestic violence. And it could be near and dear, So
like you mentioned, like we talked about, whether it's verbal, emotional, physical, it's some sort of form. I recall someone telling me, we were talking about a situation of two parties, and both parties had been through a divorce. And one person, somebody said in that conversation that we had, she was like, oh, but your situation isn't as deep as hers. Well, you felt like that because her situation were in a sense, physical.
Right.
And the other person's was more verbal. But in my mind, abuse is abuse, and I don't see it being a way more than the other. Simply because you may have those physical scars somewhere that may show, you may not. But at the end of the day, we hold those scars in us real deep
Yeah,
when we
it's a
talk
pain.
when we
It's a
talk about
pain.
verbal and
You know,
emotional and mental. So
verbal
It's a pain.
Verbal
But
hurt
then,
worse
no.
than
Right.
worse
Right.
than
Physical
physical
sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of correct that and say, well, no, I don't think that's necessarily, the case, that a physical situation, physical abusive is more prevalent or more painful
Mm-hmm.
than any other.
And then when you talk about breaking up with your partner, it can definitely get very, very, I mean, I feel like that, actually, the abuse was going on in the relationship. That's probably why y'all having it breaking up. Because y'all either was fighting, dogging each other out, calling each other out your name, and that's how the relationship ended, on hate.
I went through so much once upon a time, and I had to go to classes and everything.
So
Yeah.
on what level, Casey, when we talk
Man,
about?
it was physical and verbal.
Wow.
Yes, I had to do classes once upon a time. I had to pay $25 class.
Now,
Yeah.
was that more so because we know females can be abusive too? So was that more
Yes.
so on your end,
It was on both ends.
on both ends?
Uh-huh.
So with that being stated, Casey, let me ask you this question from a man's perspective. How were you able to, I know you said you did the classes, but what was your journey to help you come from being in that space of being either physical or verbally abusive?
For one thing, I like to lost a lot of things, such as my household, my roof, lost jobs, you know what I mean, behind it, you can suffer through a lot of things going back and forth to jail through something small like that,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like lost a lot of things, and after that right there, it woke me up, and I gave, throw the towel, and I said, we about to lose a lot behind it. And these kids are growing up and they seeing everything going on.
Oh,
And we got to tighten up around him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And get it together, all that touching and fussing and cussing and whooping and hollering abuse. And then also it was a drug thing involved at the situation too.
So that
Okay.
escalates it.
Yeah, it wasn't just that, it was drugs involved,
Okay.
so.
Okay.
So somebody had to change.
Absolutely,
You know.
absolutely.
Or remove themselves from the situation.
Remove yourself from the
Right,
situation, right.
Very true.
Why do y'all think people stay in those? And guys, make sure you go ahead and tag and share. We are talking about domestic abuse, domestic violence. We want to hear from you because we know now there are people that's out there that either know somebody, done been through a family friend, or either yourself. What does that look like in the space out there for the audience? Tell us your story. We want to hear from you. Tell us the story that from others. Tell us, what are you thinking when you hear domestic abuse and domestic violence? What are your thoughts? Lava, you was gonna say something?
No.
Okay, I just thought.
Yeah.
And look, another thing, they got plenty of classes for you too.
Right.
And they will drag you through them classes. You got to draw stick mans. You got to sit around in a circle. So yeah, you got to draw stick man. You got to, go to the next level of the book, $25 class, see probation officer. You got to even graduate out that thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I can say this, that I used to crash out when I was younger, when I had my first love, when I was young, and I just, and you know how young men are, they want to go and do what they want to do. And when, us as young women, I'm talking about 18, 19, 20, in our early 20s, we fall in love with somebody, we definitely want to be with that person. And it was a lot of physical and emotional abuse. But I know now with me being the age that I am, I would not tolerate that in a relationship right now.
No negative,
I
no
would
negative.
not tolerate
No
that right now,
negative.
even if you're trying to, whatever the case may, that is a no, that's
No,
a big
no, no,
no-no.
no.
Right.
No.
Cause I've been through it, I done been through it, I done
Yes,
been through
yes.
it.
And
I done got been shot at, I done been ran around the house with a knife.
Man, you.
I
I
done,
have too. Cut, every kind of sort of thing, I
I
tell
done
you.
been kicked in the back when I was pregnant.
Oh my God, yeah.
But why do you think that people stay in relationships like that?
So, like, in the LGBTQ community, it is a lot of domestic stuff that happens, that goes on.
I heard about that.
Because it's more so like, well, we the same sex, so we can fight each other. You get what I'm saying? But it's a lot of that going on. But like outside of what I do, like in the entertainment industry, like I work with single moms who have been through domestic violence. So just to put this out there, anybody that suffer from domestic violence, if you need like somebody to not to talk to, but if you need somebody that can connect you with some resources to put you where you need to be, I have a lot of safe houses that I know about, where you can, go there and get whatever you need.
Get help.
But I teach parenting classes at a safe house, and just basically like, just talking to those women, like, it's a psychological thing.
It is.
Yeah.
When a person starts to abuse you, it starts to diminish your self-esteem, your character,
It do.
your confidence.
It brings
It
you
takes you
down.
from here to there. Yeah, it breaks you down.
Mhm.
But it breaks you down to a point where you don't even feel worthy enough of living anymore. So it's like you just living for your kids at this point.
Right.
And it's like, so when people say, oh, why she didn't leave or why he didn't leave, cause mentally he couldn't.
That's right. That's
Like,
right.
we think that it's so easy to pack up, but a lot of times when, in a lot of situations I've seen, mostly the man is the breadwinner.
That's right.
He's the provider, he's taking care. So the woman, she feeling like, if I leave, I ain't got nothing.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
even with some of the women that I've dealt with in the shelter, like, it's like, they've left and they've had nothing. No clothes, no nothing.
Right,
Like, their
right.
kids don't
They gotta
have
start
nothing.
from- right.
So they have to go to these places, and these places have to provide them with the bare necessities.
Right.
We talking about soap,
Right.
deodorant,
Right.
toothbrushes. Like, they just literally was running scared. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And you make a great point, because I think that's what a lot of people do, and even with people that can't afford to be on their own, not necessarily because I know what you mean, Mello, about the guy being the breadwinner, but even for women that can't afford to leave, they continue to stay. In turn, can you put it here, and I'll be able.
Right.
We so sorry. You gotta put it on the
You gotta
stand,
put it on there and hit the speakerphone.
but put it here. Thank you for calling 105.7 The Phase. I'm your girl Amanda Miller. Who we have on the line?
Good evening. This is Ray speaking.
Hey,
Hey.
Hello, how you doing?
How y'all doing?
Right.
Go ahead, we're listening to you.
Okay, so I was just gonna chime in on the topic this evening. I've never experienced it firsthand, but I have helped people as well that's dealing with it. And I agree a lot with what Mello said. So another thing that I noticed, or that I've learned by working with people, women who have kids, it's harder for them to get up and leave. It's just you can physically just get up and go. When you have kids, you have to get them out of school, you have to think about where they're going to lay their head, how they're going to get the next meal.
Yeah.
And then if you're married, the biggest issue that I saw was find where they are and follow them. Because it's always a trait when you have the kids. And then you have to deal with, okay, well, she kidnapped my kids, so she can't just leave.
Right.
You have to create paper trails, like calling the police, hey, he hit me or he did this. And long story short, I don't want to take over the whole show, long story short, it's a lot harder to leave with kids. And that makes the woman deal with it. Well, he doesn't do this to the kids, so let me deal with it.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
True.
it's
That
topic.
is true.
Well, thank you, Ray, for chiming in. We really appreciate you and
Thank
thank you
you
for
so
your
much.
support and following us.
No problem.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Right.
I also think too, like with
That's a
domestic
great
violence,
point.
like it's like for me, I understand it in a different perspective because it's generational. Like, see, back in the day, it was okay.
Right.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It's also cultural because in different cultures, it's accepted.
Yeah.
Like if a woman talk too crazy to a man, he got the right to
That's
slap
Yes,
her down.
Mm.
And that's just in different cultures. That might not be in our culture.
It
You
is
get what I'm
though.
saying?
It's
But
in
it's in
Yeah,
different
that's true.
Yeah.
That's just in
That's
different
true.
cultures. So when you talk about domestic violence, you really have to look at it like with a broad eye. You
Right.
can't just
And
say
then-
if he hit you, you got to leave. Cause that might be susceptible in their household.
Yes,
That's
hold,
right.
hold 1 second. What comments do we have out there?
Jeff said, greetings from California people. I hope all is well.
California.
Hey,
All is
Jeff.
well. Hope you
Prayers
stay
up.
safe. Prayers up.
Prayers
y'all.
up for y'all.
Yes,
Stay
definitely.
safe.
Yes.
Lock Dog also said, if a woman puts her hands on me, she's going to jail.
And that's real talk.
Yeah.
I mean,
You got
Casey-
some
Yeah.
men,
you know,
right?
Casey
You know-
and I talked about that just the other day, and that's why I was saying that about females will put their hand on a man.
Yes,
To
they
provoke
will.
a man to
Mhm.
strike
They
her
will.
back or
They will.
for him to go to jail.
But
Yeah.
we talk about this all the time. It's a double standard, and in this type of case, men, I'm telling you, don't give her no mercy because women are not going to give you mercy if you put your hands on her. So if it means, like he said, calling the police for her to get locked up,
Dude.
they'll do it
That's
because she's gonna do
That's
the
California.
same when it comes down to you. She gonna call the police. I tell my daughter the same message that I teach my son. Keep your hands to
To
yourself.
yourself.
That's right.
Because
Keep your
as a
hands to yourself.
female, I hate people to say, well, she can't whip him, so he knew not to. No. She should never put her hands on that man.
And, you know, you
Mhm.
have
That's
some
provoking.
kids, you have some kids that grew up in that household that turns out the same way.
Very true. Because
You
if
know,
I see it, I'm a
they
repeat.
gonna-
That's
you know,
right.
Mhm.
That's
And they'll
right.
think they can grow up to do the same thing
Very
like
true.
that, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
keep your hands to yourself.
Which
Right.
that's not cool, you know.
So
Control your anger, you know what I mean?
And that's what it all boils down to, a hot temper.
Yes, you gotta know how to walk away,
Mm-hmm.
cause if you don't walk away, you'll regret it in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
what we got in time?
Someone said, I know a woman who actually thinks that being physical is how her and her girlfriend show love.
Oh,
There's a
wow.
lot of them like that, there's
And-
a lot of
and
people
yeah.
like that.
Because I think the reverse too. I think some of those women think that that's the way guys show their
Mhm.
love.
Love,
So in
yes.
turn,
Yeah.
they do the same by showing their love in that
Mhm.
physical form. But it goes back to what Mello was saying about generational.
Oh,
We
yes.
got to teach our children
Different.
better
Yes.
and different because I think a lot of times people have seen their parents come up in that same space.
Mhm.
But our mindset got to shift the same way we be saying generational wealth and we want to shift
Yep.
our financial
Yes.
status. These are some of the same things we have to shift our mindset from generation to generation to ensure that our new future kids know that that is not the way you love.
Mhm. You stop those generational curses.
That's
Because
right.
If that's the way that I was shown love, that's the only way I know how to
Right.
show
Mhm.
love, right? So if I think that that's okay, because my mama stayed, right?
Mhm.
And dealt with that. So I think as a
Right.
female, if you show your daughter that, then guess what? As much as we talk,
Yep.
they hear
Mhm.
us,
Yep.
but guess what? They
They
watch
see
us
it,
right.
and watch our actions
Yeah.
even more.
Yeah.
So if you
Yep.
sit back and you stay, then guess what? If it happens to them,
They
they're gonna do the exact
gonna
same
yeah.
thing.
I tell people that all the time, and I'm glad you said that, because that's another thing we do as far as our culture, and again, when I say that, other cultures may, but I speak for my own, because that's what I'm linked to. We are a culture that says just that. We will tell our kids over and over and over different stuff.
Yeah.
But we're doing something so
Mhm.
different, totally different than what we're telling them not to do. And to Zoe's point, people do what they see you do, no matter how you can
Uh-huh.
say it and say it and say it and say it. But as long as I see mom and daddy doing something
Mhm.
different, I'm going to grow up doing exactly what mama and daddy
So,
That's why your
So-
parents say you do what I say, not what I do.
Right.
And they be so wrong.
They're so wrong.
Well,
It should be the
What
It
opposite.
should be the opposite.
What
Right.
about the parents that don't let their children know what they're doing? When I say that secret abuse,
Mhm.
I had a friend near dear to me, and I do not want to start crying. She was my beautician for 15, 20 years, and she's from the West Side, and you never would think she had any type of abuse going on in her relationship. They didn't even show it to the kids.
Mm.
And that man one day shot and killed her
Mhm.
in the head and shot and killed himself in the head. And we went and they were laying in the car and they were both dead.
Right.
And you would never know that they were going through any type of domestic violence. Nobody ever knew. It was a secret.
Let me tell you this. People be so ashamed of
Mm.
going through stuff like that
Yes.
because and I tell Zoe this all the time, and I think we all may have done it in life. Most people, let me say most people, because it's not all of
Everybody,
anything, not
right,
all of
right.
anything, but most people, we put on a facade so good that
Oh,
we
yes.
don't want nobody
Nobody to
to
know.
think that we're going through anything.
We do.
And we care about what people say and think. I stopped doing that long time ago.
But also, check this out though. What you was raised on, what happened in this house was.
Stay in this house.
Stays in his
Mhm.
house.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
think about that. Like you think about stuff like that. Like people be going through stuff all the time, molestation, all types of situations. But ain't nobody talking about it outside the house because it's been drilled in us.
Right, and
What
that's
happens in
exactly
this
what
house
was
stays in this
that's
house.
exactly
But we
what-
gotta get back out of like what we're saying.
Change it.
Change these things that we can't be picky to say, okay, I wanna come out of generational curses from this wealth being the only thing.
Right.
We got so many other things that's bigger that our
But that cause we only think money is the problem.
but
It's
that's
not.
right, that's
It's
right.
not.
If
And
we
I-
only think
I
money
got
is the
some
problem.
comments.
If
Yeah.
you
Okay.
do,
All right.
Okay, let's get these
Casey
comments.
got some comments.
Latasha Carter said, hold on, what she said. 1 second. She said, it's also hard for some single women to leave as well. Some women depend on them demands, especially when a man and woman is together and all she know is him,
Mhm.
and she's scared to leave.
but who fault that is? Hey, just being for real.
Yeah.
Like
No, yeah.
as an adult, as a woman, like my mama always taught me don't depend on nobody for nothing. I don't care if they got way more than you or they got what you want. You can't go over there and put all your eggs over there in that basket. So like, how are these women being raised? You get what I'm saying? Like you have to think about stuff like that. As a woman, if I dated men, I know the type of man that I would want. I would want a man like my daddy because they're the type of man that I seen. You feel what I'm saying?
But it started from slavery.
But
If you want to just take it back, it does.
Hold on, guys. Go ahead.
Someone said, Lock Dog said he would never put his hands on a woman. Somebody asked, is it really your birthday?
Yeah, I'm a Capricorn.
Yes, Capricorn.
No,
in the
my
house.
actual birthday was January 3rd, but I'm still celebrating.
That's right.
Around January. I'm a Capricorn.
What
to
else we
Aquarius
got?
season.
Mine's tomorrow.
And then
Oh,
somebody-
really?
Yeah.
Okay, happy birthday.
somebody also said, it's a lot, it's not easy to leave as people would think.
Mm-mm.
I've never been through it personally, but I watched someone go through it and I helped them
Sorry,
get out. And then
Sorry.
Antonio said, I don't beat women. My mom's was hit by a MFer when I was in middle school and we beat the brakes off of him.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Anything on any others before we go back into the.
One thing about them boys, they don't play about their mom.
Oh, baby, my brother
Girls
was-
too.
Girls too.
One thing about it, I seen now. I can share a personal story. Like my mama, she probably killed me for saying this, but my mama at one point in time she was dating this guy, and I guess he thought he was gonna get a little bit physical with her, but he didn't know who he was fucking with.
Right.
My mama kicked that Negro down the steps and broke his arm,
Okay.
and all she walked away with was a broken pinky. Okay?
Right.
And he after that he ain't touching no more. And my mom, but I'm saying like I know that because I know my mama don't play that. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I've even been in like, we had a situation when we used to go to like Louisiana. My mom used to have this friend, he was old. Won't call him a friend. We used to go down to Louisiana with them, with him and his family. And one night he was drunk. He used to drink gin all the time. And y'all know they say about gin.
It makes
sense.
sense.
You feel me? So he was drinking the gin one time, and he had done slapped me in the face.
Oh.
And so I'm like, I know you fucking lying. I said, he just slapped me. I was like, Mama. We went over there and we jumped him.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? I mean,
That's
I was
right.
swinging too.
That's
That's
right.
And then that was the first time. Then the second time, he had my mom. We were going to the skating rink. We used to like to go skating on Sundays, and it would just take her a little bit too long to come out the house. And I was like, this ain't like she went in there to get one thing. Let me go in here and see what's going on. I go in there, my damn shirt up. I said, well, what the shirt up for? He trying to hit her in the stomach because he don't want to hit her in the face. And I'm like, I grabbed the vacuum cleaner and I just came across the room. Boop. And after that, we beat him in the back of the head with a hammer.
Okay.
I called the police. They got him out of there. They ain't saying nothing to us. But long story short, like, my mom had always been a fighter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, my mom is a fighter, so I seen my mama fight back. So when I got older and I got into a domestic situation with a chick, in my mind, I was like, babe, we got the same thing. When I take this off, we got the very same thing. I'm about to whoop this bitch.
Now, Mello, wait, that's still domestic.
It was, but
Right.
she beat me.
Okay, I get it,
She
but I'm
beat me,
saying
and I
it's still
told
domestic.
her up in there. Her friend had to come get me up off her.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying, like, and I'm not that person. Put that out there in the world. I'm not that person. I'm not violent.
That's
That's
right.
called
I'm not a
family.
violent
Family.
person. But I had to defend
That's
myself.
That's right, you got the right to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Hold on, guys, what we got out there in time?
Someone said I was brought up in a household that was in domestic violence. Was shown in my mom's was the aggressive one. And I always prayed that I would not bring that to my home nor around my kids when I became an adult.
That's right.
That's a great point.
That's a great
point.
point.
Thanks for sharing that.
Someone
That's
also
someone
said-
that's your-
Sharon.
Today's culture loves toxicity and thinks toxic equals love.
Oh,
Unfortunately.
facts. Yes.
What you got, Kate? Oh, I'm sorry.
Someone also said indeed.
What you got, Casey?
Marcella Dunn, let me see what Marcella Dunn said. Keep going up, hold on 1 second.
So y'all done, go ahead.
That's easy to say, but hard to do. No matter how you were raised, please remember that time dictates a gender family. Time dictates a gender family.
I get it, but at the end of the day, like this here, as a mother, your job is to do what? Protect your kids. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie to you and say, like, it ain't hard, because I seen women that struggle with that.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I've been in the midst of that, but at the end of the day, that children was the motivation. Because get what the abuser gonna start doing? Beating on your kids.
That's right.
Now, what you ain't
Gonna
gonna
do
do?
it. Put
You,
your hand
but
on
this
my
is what I'm
shoulder.
saying.
But I
This is
don't
how
know,
it
let me
happens.
just say
This
this.
is how it happens, though.
Sometimes, and I think for whatever reason, most times,
Some,
go ahead,
oh,
Casey.
now you go.
I just think most times, and I'm not saying that there are not abuse in the families where the man or whomever is not abusive to the kids. I'm not saying that.
Mhm.
But I do believe it is more prevalent that they are abusive towards each other and it's in the open and the kids seems to see it as
Yeah.
opposed to like how you saying keep it within the hush
Like,
closet.
yeah.
And kids tend to see it and then as they get older, you know, at an age, yeah, it's like you're not gonna put your hands on my mom, and so
Right.
now I'm protecting my mom,
Right.
and then it becomes physical because
Right.
if KC protects his mom, and then the man he get up in the man's face with his mom,
Right.
then he feel like okay, he finna just handle KC, but KC ain't finna let him handle him like that. So
Right.
You know, that goes back to what I was saying from when I was going through a situation, you know what I mean? And I was like, it's time to stop. The kids are getting older.
That's right.
You know, they're starting to recognize these things that we're doing and, you know, and it's gonna start taking a toll to them as they get older.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean?
Can I ask you a question, though?
Mhm.
Like, what really, like, why did you feel like it was okay for you to even put your hands on your woman?
Like I said, for once, I was trying to trying to make a woman do the right thing. Control, you know, do better, you know, when I know you can do better, and then for second of all, it was drugs involved.
Yeah, he did say that.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then the lady was abusive too,
Right.
I got
you
you.
know? So the drugs played a whole lot of parts in that, in our situation, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And I like the point that you're saying and you're making, because drugs will make you do some things that
Yeah.
your natural person,
Yeah.
your natural
Yeah,
character
never mind.
I
wouldn't
don't
do.
know about that.
No,
I think,
no,
I think
no,
drugs
no,
are
no.
a heightener. I think like if you already angry and you go do something, I think it take you from here to there.
Yeah,
So it
Right,
intensifies
right,
Yeah.
right. It like
Like
give you like a little bit more, what they say, liquid courage.
Courage.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They make you invincible. Like.
Right.
Mhm.
But I think even with any relationship, whether it be domestic or not, from a woman's perspective, let me just speak for me. But when you're planning your exit strategy, you're planning it. To your point, Mello,
Mhm.
if my kids are my motivator, whether it's a good relationship, bad relationship, whatever it looks like, if I feel like I need to get out, whether he's not abusive, right? But it's just not a good relationship for me,
Right.
then you have to plan your exit strategy, just like
Right.
with anything else, which
Right.
means save your money.
Mm-hmm.
Try your best to navigate those waters so that you don't make this dude angry or whatever the case may be until you can safely get you and your kids out of there.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what is the number one reason for domestic violence? First of all, who is the main person in the relationship? Now, I know you said women do it too, but who is the main person in the
You
relationship?
can't say though.
You can't.
I mean, when you say who's
Okay,
the main
When
person,
I say
which I understand.
It's situational.
I don't think,
It's
I
situational.
think,
Yeah.
Of
It's
domestic
situational.
violence.
But I
See,
think-
half of the time I was defending myself.
and you really can't do a truth, and most times it is men, I'm sure,
It's
by
reported.
statistics, that's what I
No
was just about
man,
to
let
say.
me tell you something,
That's what I was
ain't
just
no
about to say.
man, it's very
Reported.
rare.
That's
that a
right.
man is gonna say,
That's
I've
right,
been
and
abused
that's
by
what
a
I
woman.
was gonna
Right.
say.
Look
I
how
think
long
it's
Lionel
not
Richie was
true.
getting beat up.
Hold on, I think it's not true
For real, see what I'm saying? You
statistics,
have
it's
some
simply
women
because
You
of
doing
what
their
you,
man.
simply because of what you were just saying, Mello.
Yes.
Men will not report what they're going through because we've set it out there for
It makes
men
it look
to,
like they're weak.
weak.
Right,
Do we have
right.
anything? Make sure you guys tag and share, but also make sure you're calling 442495092.
And go subscribe.
And actually, and also go subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Mhm.
But also, I want to make a point to leading up to physical violence. I think when people go through emotional and verbal abuse, we don't think that people will become physical. And a lot of times they will. Now, I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of times they will. And people will say, well, he don't do nothing but call me out my name, or he don't do nothing but scream and holler at me. But those are forms of escalation. So let's talk about that, guys.
And I
Yeah.
believe
You don't
that
even push my head in
alcohol
the wall.
and drugs is a number one cause for domestic violence.
Yeah.
I believe that alcohol and drugs, because when you're out of your natural state of mind, you
Yeah.
get angry.
And I don't know if it's
But then,
necessarily
you know,
alcohol.
I believe
But
it.
then
I feel like
you have some
drugs
people
is-
that be sober though.
That fight.
and have, you know, go
And I
through
think
that
those
too.
are cultural things. I think it's more
Exactly.
cultural than
That's how I feel.
anything.
It's
It
like how
just-
you was
It
raised.
just
Like,
that, yeah.
like
It
if
just-
you were raised in that type of environment, a volatile environment, you're gonna be volatile, not just with your spouse, but even with other people.
That is
It
right.
just-
Most people that are from my understanding, most people that are abusive, they go out in the world and they abuse other people too.
Uh-huh.
Like it's not an exclusive thing.
To
You
your
just not
spouse.
getting beat
Right.
up. I'm
Right.
beating everybody up.
It's just the drugs
In
and
one way or the
alcohol will escalate
And
more,
escalate more.
you know, and
Yes.
get more violent.
So let
Right.
me
You
take
know
it
what
back.
I mean?
It's a control issue.
Yes.
I think it definitely is a
It's
control issue.
Do you think?
Go ahead, so.
Do you think that the violence, like you said, it starts with the verbal and the mental abuse, right? It starts with that first before it becomes physical. do you think as women, we can sometimes antagonize the situation by the way that we handle it too?
Of course.
And now,
You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
think that it makes it
I don't think it makes it
right,
right.
but yes, I do believe, and I think that's because, again, and I'm not saying people to humble down and let folks do you any kind of way.
No.
I'm not saying that.
No.
I am saying, I think what happens is, it goes back to what we were talking about, on another show, as far as knowing when and when not to.
That's right.
Because everything is not an argument.
Very
Everything
true,
is
right.
not a fight.
Yeah.
Everything is not
Totally
something to talk about. I
Right.
mean, and if we can walk away from it, and that's just in anything.
Mhm.
And,
Please
and,
walk
and then
away.
another thing too, we gotta start recognizing, or some people need to start recognizing what is a argument versus a debate. And see, sometimes people will take a debate and turn it into an argument,
Very
and
true.
because they
I
don't
agree.
understand what a
Right.
debate
Mhm.
is.
And that's people's mindset, but I think it goes back to knowing your person when we talk about partnership.
Mhm.
Now, if it's not partnership or a family member, and you don't know these people, I'm not gonna be in a debate with you no way, because I don't even really know how you will respond. So I'm gonna let you have that.
That's right.
Because, I mean, I'm not gonna put myself in no situation trying to prove a point to you
Mhm.
just because we're going through a debate. Because to your point, you may not understand that it's a debate. You may feel like it's an argument. So we gotta be okay with walking away and don't care about people saying, oh, she's scary, or he's scary, or I punked them
Yes.
out, or
Yeah.
this, that, and the third. We too old for that. And even down to our younger children, I tell my child, as long as she didn't put your hands on you, girl, we don't have time to tongue battle. All that other stuff means nothing.
Right.
And we got to be okay with that.
Yeah, Mello got something.
I wanna say something. Okay, I feel like this too. In relationships, you have to create boundaries.
That's right.
When a person starts talking to you any kind of way, you gotta put your foot down right then and there.
That's right.
Hey,
That's right.
That's what
Oh,
Read
look.
the red
not
flag.
You
talking
ain't talk to me
Read-
like that.
You got to
You think you
read-
can talk to me like that, you might wanna go on back
That's-
over here with
That's
Sally
right.
Mae.
You gotta read
But
the
you
red
got to,
flag.
you got,
Yeah.
exactly, you, and it ain't even about a red flag, it's about respect.
That's
That's
right.
right.
When a
That's
person,
right.
when a person feel, and I feel like this, in my situations, like my relationships, if I feel like I wanna put my hands on you, I don't got no respect for
That's
you.
right.
It's over with,
That's right.
it's a done dollar.
That's right.
But my
That's right.
thing is, people be so scared to say, hey, I don't like that. I don't do this. People so scared to communicate with people nowadays because they worried about whether somebody's gonna
Yeah.
like them. Or somebody got
That's right.
something
Yeah.
for them that
Yep.
they want.
Yeah.
That's
Like
Or you
somebody
gon-
got a little bit of money,
or
you
they
like,
gon-
oh, I'm gonna
or
let
they
them
gon-
go.
or they worried-
let them slide.
Or they worried about what their friends
No,
gotta
ma'am.
say.
Right,
No,
that's right.
you gotta let
Yeah.
that go.
Forget
You
that.
gotta let
Like,
that go.
When you show me that first sign, like if I'm talking to you and you talking to me crazy,
I gotta check you right
baby,
there.
listen.
Yeah, you
Now,
gonna dip
Mello-
that in the
Good.
bud
Yeah.
ASAP.
That's right.
And then that when we gonna get to the point where you ain't even gonna wanna put your hands on me, cause you gonna know if you say the wrong thing to me, you know what I'm saying?
Ratchet
I'm
Tracy
finna
said
go.
facts.
Yeah, I'm
Ratchet
finna
Tracy
walk
said
out.
facts.
You gonna value my presence more so than my absence.
There you go.
That's right.
So like now
And
it's
you're
a
right.
respect.
Yeah,
thing.
I agree,
Yeah.
Mello. When things start to be verbal and emotional, abusive
Need
at the gate,
Mhm.
you do have to nip it.
Yes,
And I'm gonna tell you, my mama say I'm very argumentative, and she don't. But it's not that I'm argumentative. What you to that exactly?
So
You
what
just
you say? What you
you
say?
just
She's gonna make you sure you understand her.
you're gonna
point.
understand my point,
She
and
gonna
what
do
you're
that.
not going to do, to Mello's point, is talk to me any
Any
kind
kind
of
of
way.
way.
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
when
That's
I
right.
come, if you
That's right.
come for me, I'm gonna come back for
For
you.
you.
That's just what that is. I'll never come for you in the beginning.
That's right.
That's not who I am.
And then you
And
got
And if I
some-
have to
but
do
I'm
that
finished.
right there, I might as well just let you go on about your business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
might as well
I'm
let you go
never.
about your business.
Cause you got
right.
some men that won't tolerate that.
That's
You know,
right.
you
And
got
I'm
some
one of
men-
them.
Right.
That's right, Casey.
I'm one of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it works both ways.
I'm
You
one
know,
of them.
it's okay for a man to put his feet down and say, no, you're not gonna talk to me that way. You're
No.
not gonna come for me.
That's
right.
And that's just who I am. You're not gonna
Yes.
come for me.
No, man.
I'm because I'm respectful to you.
Yes.
And I'm big on respect.
Yes.
That's one of my high key points for
Respect,
any and everything.
yes.
Respect. So I'm gonna respect you. I want you to respect me.
Mhm.
And if you come for me, I'm gonna come for you. However, what I will say, in my relationships, I know I've learned to choose my battles.
Thank
That's
you.
right.
Everything is not an argument,
That's
even
right.
if he's in a state of mind where he feels like there's a need to be aggressive verbally. My thing is, okay, you're heated. People do get heated. We ain't gonna say they don't, because people do. We as humans, we get heated. And so you're in a space where right now there's no need to have a conversation. So we'll talk about this at a later date.
You're a good one.
And people have to understand too, you gotta get to a point in your growth and your
Come on,
maturation. You gotta get to a point in your growth
It's
and
a
your
growth
maturation
thing.
where you can say, you know what, I need a little space from this conversation.
Right,
Let me
right.
walk away and
Right.
let me take 5 minutes and then let me come back and
That's
talk
right.
about it.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? But
takes
people,
growth.
it
That's
does take a lot of growth, but at the end of the day, like when you really want a relationship with somebody
That's
and you
right.
want something,
Right.
you gonna do what you gotta do.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
and that's why
You
I'm
gonna say what
like,
you gotta say.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you gonna whether it come out the way you intended it for to say, you gonna say what you say, mean what you say,
and
and
stand
then
on
get
it.
what you gonna do. All right, let me get
Right.
5 minutes.
That's right.
And
Okay.
what you're not gonna do is call me out my name.
Because
I will let you get where to go by everything else, but you're
But
not
that
gonna call me out
includes
my name.
family members,
That
children.
includes family
Yeah.
members.
Because
Yeah.
baby, when you get
Children.
disrespectful, I see
Friends.
red.
Yeah, I see
Child
that.
and all.
Yeah.
Listen,
Let me tell you
and I
something
wanna
now.
say
But
this,
Yeah.
I
not
wanna
you
say
ready to
this.
do is that right
Yeah.
there.
To my
It's gonna
audience.
be all those.
So hold on, guys, go ahead,
Mhm.
Bob,
I
and
wanna
then we'll
say
go to
this
you.
to my audience, young people, please, it's a lot of y'all out here that is searching for love because it wasn't gotten during childhood, or you still a child seeking for love, and they go out and get boyfriends and girlfriends.
Mhm.
You don't have to tolerate the abuse,
That's right.
okay? Keep it moving. You have a future ahead of you, and
Amen.
you got some things you gotta do, and you got a purpose here. So you do not have to tolerate the abuse. You don't have to tolerate the physical abuse, the emotional abuse. You don't have to stay in it.
Absolutely. What we got-
Remove
go ahead,
yourself
I'm sorry.
from it.
That's right.
And that's what I wanted to let them know, because usually
Absolutely.
young people, they do that. They stay
Shoot,
in it.
speak to the grown people too. You still got grown people.
Oh,
that
yes,
deal with that.
yes, and to your point, so I wanna speak to that, go ahead.
Someone said hurt people hurt people.
Oh, yes.
And they said oftentimes that person thinks little of themselves in their mind. The only way to keep their significant is to be controlling / abusive.
Yeah.
Someone also said she better keep her hands to herself because she will get flipped on the car.
Hey, you got some people that like that now.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
don't,
yeah.
that don't take that, don't play it.
That's right,
Yeah.
and I agree.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's right,
Tell my
and that's why I
child.
tell my
And
child,
I
keep
learned-
your
You got to
hands
be
to
careful,
yourself,
right.
because
Watch your mouth when you talking to me.
Keisha Kush said, hey, sisters.
Hey,
Hey.
because
Yeah.
again,
You
as soon
gotta-
as you put your hand on that man and then
Who say
he
that?
done
Tell them
knocked
the
you on
gentleman
the
in here
floor,
too.
then
Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah,
your
okay.
uncle and your uncle,
We got-
everybody want to
can't
come for
see
you,
that way
but
in
she
the
shouldn't have never put her hand, hold on guys, we got to stay.
But how about this? How about when you in a domestic situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you just said, you calling your uncles, your brothers, whomever to come and help you. But you
go back.
stay.
Mm-hmm.
You stay.
Call me.
My I had a family member do the exact same thing until my uncles were like, you know what? Don't call us over here no more, because then
Right.
you have us about to go to jail.
That's right.
Coming to
Or
defend
get
you.
hurt.
Or
That's
get
right.
hurt.
Yeah, I
Right.
know
Right.
some people
For
that
you to
have
go
got
back
killed
to that
behind it.
same
No.
individual, and y'all just keep this whole repetitive cycle going,
And that just happened.
and you done pulled your family
Now check
into
this
that.
out. Check this out. This why and I blame the internet.
Mm.
I blame social media for making toxicity must in a relationship.
But
People
you
don't know
think
how to
that-
not
do
be
you think,
toxic.
Mello?
Huh?
Do you think the internet
I
has
think
done
it heightened
that?
I do want to say
Yes.
something.
But I think
Every
that, I
time
think
you
it's
get on here,
heightening, but I
I
think
seen this
people have
video.
always
And all.
been
I seen
toxic.
it, but it's now it's like you can see it for real, it's forefront.
What's up?
Like check this out, I saw a video. One of my friends sent me this video.
Oakland.
It was two girls. The girl was saying, how you gonna hug another girl if you see them in the club? So what the girl do? She hug them, but she hugging them low. Here go the girl, push her, boom, try again. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like these types of things are being promoted on social media. People telling you it's okay to be toxic. It's okay to
But
do
if
this.
you
Yeah.
grown,
That
but
mean you love.
again,
But
okay,
still,
let
how
me go.
many grown people grown?
But that's what I'm saying, but,
Right.
right,
That's
that's
very
real,
true.
How
that's
many
real,
grown
Mello,
people
and I agree
grown?
that, but it goes back to what Lava just stated. If we are teaching or saying to our kids, and hopefully we're demonstrating it and not just saying it,
Right.
and when they see this stuff on the internet, they know better.
But they don't. They compete. You competed. This is what we tell people. Like I say this all the time. Like that's like with relationships. People get in here talking about relationship goals. People think matching tennis shoes is relationship goals. Damn your credit.
Right.
Damn your credit.
Right.
But we got on matching Jordans.
Right.
This is what's being promoted. We got matching outfits on.
Right.
We matching like this. Like we not talking about no real grown adult stuff.
Right.
You can tell your kids a million and one
I got
things. My mom used to tell me all the time, don't do drugs, but get what I did when they put the blunt in my face.
What?
Smoke
Yeah.
weed.
Right. Right.
I got a comment. I got a comment
Right.
too. Keisha Kush said, yes, I agree, social media amped it up, and, she said facts.
It makes it okay.
And so do you think, I think social
Yeah.
media amplifies
Exactly.
a lot of
stuff.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
So from the
That
toxic relationships, yeah, we
Right,
definitely
Natasha.
amplify that. Even same-sex
Right,
relationships,
Chris.
our kids are exposed to that on a whole different level
Right,
than what
yeah.
we were
They are.
exposed to it. You think about the commercials, you think about
The TV
television shows,
Uh-huh.
you think about everything. We didn't see those things, and it may have gone on in your family, but it was it was hush hush. But it wasn't in your face
Yeah.
the way that it is in your
Yeah.
face now. So
But I think,
even
right, and I agree with you, Zoe, and Mello. I do think social media heightens a lot of things, but when we talk back to the subject of verbal abuse, physical and emotional abuse, I just believe that, and this is, don't make me come down to say that is right. I just believe, again, that it amplified it, but I think it was always an issue because of the simple fact, control. Fathers have always felt like, and I'm not saying mothers are not abusive, I'm not saying that. I think people have always thought that they were in control of the female, so it's do what I tell you to do because I take care of these bills and I take care of the house. So I'm the man, I'm the controller, do what I say do, or you can get out of here. And so knowing to your point that they have nowhere to go, or like the lady said who called Ray, they have their kids, they tend to fall in line. And then people don't want their families to be looking at them sideways. So they keep it hush hush. But go ahead, Lila.
Well, to your point, when you said that the guy or the husband tell them they can leave, I don't think it's necessarily be where they're telling them to leave. It's hush your mouth for I slap the out of you. And hold on.
Go ahead.
And they're scared to leave, but one day they get up that courage to leave. It's not get out. It's I'm gonna be both.
Well, I think it's both. I do think it's both because
It's like I dare you to leave.
There you go. Because guess what?
and then I dare you to leave you. It's sarcasm though.
That's right.
And it's
That's
a
right.
thing of like for the most of the women that I dealt with, like with at the shelter and stuff like that, most of their situations was more so like, go ahead and leave. Let me see what you're gonna do.
Because they know they know they control the income, right? So they know what you have and what you can and can't do.
So you gotta I just feel like when it comes to like domestic violence and people who dwell in it, who sit in it, who stay in it, it be more so of a mental and a psychological type situation.
And yeah, well, domestic violence, it's starting young now.
Yeah. When I was in high school,
So let's talk about that, and then we're gonna go to our comments because I think we have comments in the thing.
Okay.
Thank you for.
hit the button.
105.
Thank you for calling 105.7 the favorite. You're not finna say something else, Zarina.
Not that word,
Thank you for calling. Hey, this is Amanda. Who we got on the line?
Sharisa.
Hey, Sharisa, what we got?
I want to start with, in case you don't take this the wrong way, on the subject of domestic violence, I've learned that a lot of men are cowards. A lot of men can't allow women words to beat them. So now they have to get physical. So now she beat me with her words. I'm going to beat her with my fist.
Oh,
That's over.
That's a very good point.
Very good point.
That's a fact.
Wow, great,
Yeah.
great comment. Anything else you got?
For women, a lot of women, they put their hand on a man thinking he may not hit me back when you know you should put your hands on someone that you don't want to hit you back. So women, keep your hands to yourself.
That's right.
Period. You don't want him to hit you.
That's
Don't
right.
hit him.
That's right.
I'm like, bottom line, great show. I love you guys
I read some
Now we'll
comments.
tell the truth.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
we got, she better keep her hands to herself, cause she will get flipped like a car that
Right.
went too fast. Then we have, I would not go back and forth, and I will always protect my peace. It's called adulting 101.
Oh.
Right.
And then we have, we don't have nothing on Instagram. We good over here.
Good, okay, so,
Now I will
Go
be
ahead, go
honest.
ahead.
We say 100%
Real.
real, right?
absolutely.
That's right.
Now I have knocked the hell out of my future daddy.
Okay.
He about 6'3", 6'2", 6'3".
He probably let you do it.
Why
A
you
big
do
old
that?
dude.
Why you do that though?
Because he called me out my name, and it was just like a natural
Reflex.
reflex
Mhm,
Uh-huh.
mhm.
to where you said something stupid and it didn't make sense, and you called me out my name, and my immediate reaction was to
Bop.
Mhm.
knock you in the face. Now, granted, my brother was living with me. My brother was living with me, and my brother jumped in, of course, because he's my brother.
Right,
But
right.
he's younger than I am. But he jumped in and he was like, "Sweetie, you cannot put your hand on no man,
Facts.
because if I wasn't here and that man put his hands on you, you may put your hands on him, but a man gonna always 9 times out of 10 outpower a
Right.
woman.
Right,
I don't care
right.
how strong we think we are,
Right,
but a man is gonna outpower you." He's like, "So you can't do that."
Right.
right.
Whether he was there or not. But that was a learning experience, because if I was there by myself, what would have happened?
He would have beat the brakes off
That
you.
part.
Then you would have been black eyed, blue lipped.
Well, you
Well,
got
not
No.
necessarily, because I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you, I mean, to Zoe's point, I've done it too, but he was like, hey,
Then you ain't put your hands on nobody.
I did. He was like, hey, you need to come get your sister because, hey, and right, I mean, and that, I applaud it because again, it showed me that you care enough and you respect me enough
Respect.
to
There
call
you
my
go.
brother and say,
Respect.
hey, your sister over here
Yeah.
showing out.
Come
And
get her.
I'll come get her because I don't want to have to put my hands on her.
Mhm.
So I really appreciate him in that space. So most men, some men operate in that space
They
where
do.
others
A
don't.
man's
So
man
so-
operates in that space.
yeah.
A
And
man.
Boy
and
does
then
not.
Then look,
Right.
Boy will not
and
operate
then
in that
look,
space.
you got some women that be trying to provoke you, and you're not paying no attention.
That is very true.
Instead of keep coming at you, you
And that's what
walking
we talking
away.
about right
Right,
now.
right.
Toxicity.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Bingo.
People be wanting a reaction out of stuff. Y'all
yeah,
talk about crashing out. Folks
Yeah.
calling your phone private at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Cause they want a reaction from you.
Mhm.
Right.
And when you don't give them that reaction, then they result to other things.
Right,
There you
Now I
provoke
gotta come over here and ruffle your feathers up
Yeah,
some more.
yeah,
Because
and
now
you're-
I need you to give me what I wanted.
yeah.
Well, that's
We gotta
that's
make
maturity.
crashing out not being cool.
Right,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to your point, Mello, like, I was in a situation where I was dating this guy and, his baby mom showed up and they got into it or whatever have you, and he she swung on him, he trying to fight, and I'm telling him, man, do not put your hand on that girl.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what she wants.
That's right.
And you're the one that's going to end up locked up.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
everything, yet again, does not require a reaction, even
Right.
if the person is in the wrong. As far as a woman put her hand on a man, and I'm not saying it by no means it's
Right.
acceptable, but what I am saying is, in the long run, most times now it's gotten better. The law tired of women putting their hand on men,
Yeah.
so they take both of them to jail
Yeah.
if they got
Right.
evidence
Cause
that
it,
it's both.
it,
They
it
do.
was from time when the lady
It
called
was
the police.
always the
Mhm.
man go
And
to
the
jail.
man go to jail.
That's
After
right.
she done been and struck him and scratched
That's
him
right.
all
That's
up.
right.
And,
That's
That's
right.
you know, send you to work with scratches all in your face and neck and
Mhm.
things. But the police come, they gonna lock the man up.
So mind you, I just went through something like this about 3 weeks ago with a family member. I had to rush over to a family member. And the case is that it's the first person that throws the lick going to jail.
Mhm.
It need to be both of them.
It need
But
to
how,
be- it need to be
because,
both.
because how do you know by the
Who
time the
did the
police
first?
get
That-
there?
Guess what they
It's gonna
say?
be your
Guess what
word
they'll
against
say?
That's
Guess what
right,
they
I
gonna- guess what
agree.
they'll say?
They looking at
You
who
was
got
the
the roof.
aggressive.
But
Right,
then
you
because
got
the
the
person,
rest
right.
You was the aggressive.
But I'm to Joe's point though.
You could be scratched up and everything.
But what
Yeah,
if I
that's
You
right.
scratch, but what if I
That's
scratch
right.
you up and then I don't have enough strength to
Right.
black your eye?
That's
But
right.
I'm the only one with the scratches,
That's
but I'm the
right.
one that
That's
started
right.
Yeah,
it.
they're gonna She's
That's
still
right.
aggressive.
You get what I'm saying?
That's so they got that wrong.
That's
she,
right.
And she said,
Because again, to Zoe's point, I could have the abusers, but Zoe could have been the first person to throw the first
Exactly.
punch.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but my punch just didn't leave no bruise
Absolutely.
on you.
Right. Absolutely.
Cause I wasn't strong enough,
Absolutely.
but I done knocked you upside the head.
That's
so-
right.
But guess what though? They got somewhere for you. They got somewhere
and
for you.
didn't make the man leave, and she said, I just want him to leave. They said, how long he been here?
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
He
that,
said
oh, yeah.
9 years. They said, 9
You
years.
gotta
Oh
go
no,
for
you gotta
it.
go.
You
Them
gotta
eviction
That's
notice.
right, baby. I learned that the hard way.
That's
Yes,
right,
man.
that's right.
The
You
sad
gotta
thing
get
about that is, like, we need to start educating ourselves on the law.
Yeah.
You got to be
Right.
educated on
Cause
the
you
law.
cannot put that man out.
You can't put him out.
Uh-huh.
You can't do none of that.
Uh-huh.
Cause I mean, I was in a
Uh-huh.
situation one time,
That's right.
but my thing is too, like, when you call the police on me, baby, we through.
That's
Yeah.
it.
What were you?
We
We
through.
done.
Yeah, we done.
We
Let
through.
me say
You call the
this.
police one time, we through. And
Definitely.
I ain't been to jail none of the times they called on me, cause I ain't never been no aggressor. One thing about me, I pride myself on being a non-volatile person. Now, like I said,
like
if
me
it
too.
take, if it come down to it, I'm gonna defend myself.
That's
for
right.
sure.
That's right.
That's right.
But I'm not gonna, I ain't gonna hit you first. I ain't gonna let
You
you hit
might
me
not even
first.
be the
either.
aggressor.
They're
They
right.
still lock you up.
Nah, they ain't gonna lock me up.
Yeah.
I know what
That's how
to
they
do.
go.
What you do,
They be
Miller?
tripping.
I wanna go back.
They ain't studying all of that right there no more.
I wanna go back. I wanna
You gonna
go
break down.
Hold on, dog. Back to a serious note.
You got me out of serious.
What Mello said earlier, guys, is escape, and you said it to Zarita about having an escape plan. Or
Yes.
I think it's this. To your point, be okay with leaving empty-handed.
Oh,
Yeah.
We gotta stop that.
Say it
I wanna
again,
stay
people
for
in the back.
right. I wanna stay for the money. I wanna stay because I built this home. I wanna stay because we got this account.
I done put
Be,
in too much
I
money
don't
in
put
the
in too much
relationship.
work. I don't put
Baby.
in too much time.
Let
Be
it go.
okay with leaving empty-handed. And I wanted to say that to have this
Say it
discussion as we,
Come on, one more time.
Yeah, for people in
be
the back.
okay with leaving
Cause get what?
empty-handed.
Get what, Amanda? It's so many programs out here, baby.
But
They'll
not
buy
only
your house,
not
they
only-
get your car,
That's right.
they'll get you back where you need to be.
And that go for
It's
men
me
and ladies.
Me too.
It
I
go
work
for
with
men
men.
and
I work with men
Men
in
and
domestic
ladies.
It
situations.
go for men, it go for men.
Yes.
Yeah, be okay with leaving empty-handed.
Yes.
I want to talk a little bit on more of a personal note because when you said it, Mello, so I went through it myself back in my 20s, early 20s, maybe early 30s. But a lady told me just that. I said, I gotta get out of this situation. She said, what you waiting on? I said, I cannot find a way when he's never there to get my things. And she said, leave empty-handed.
Oh.
So that's what I tell people all the time. You can, she said, what's more important, your life
Uh-huh.
or leaving empty-handed?
Right.
Yes. But guess
Yeah.
what?
They-
Guess how many
You
I
can
don't
always
have
get that back.
Yeah.
But guess how
You
many
always
people
get that back.
say,
Exactly.
You always get that
Tenfold.
back.
right,
Tenfold.
but we don't
And
believe,
some.
but if he's broken you down enough, you don't believe that.
Mhm.
You believe that if you walk away, all of this other stuff has more value
Right.
than you.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And that's what people thinking. That's why we have to change
There
the
you go.
narrative
Right,
to
right.
get people
Right.
to think it's
Right.
okay to start
With
over.
never.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
said. I'm a firm believer in knowing that, like, baby, you can start over as many times you want to. You can
Yes,
be 50,
that's right.
60.
That's right.
What, my grandmama, my daddy mama, she got married in her 50s. Okay?
Right.
Like, you can start over, but also you have to understand, too, like, when you are, to what you said, leaving it. When you leave it, you got to know, and this just come with your faith and your
That's
spirituality.
right.
And God gonna,
Like, you gotta
and
know
God
that
gonna
God
lead
is
you
a
the right way.
provider.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yes,
He gonna be a
right.
provider. Yeah, you might have to sleep in your car a couple
Right.
nights.
God gonna work
You
it
know, you
out.
might have to go to a
That's it.
shelter.
That's
You might
right.
have to do that, but guess what? God gonna put people in your life
That's
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 right.
gonna help you, that's
That's
gonna
right.
get you where you
That's
need to
right.
be. And you got, that's what I'm saying, it's resources out here.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna say it again. I am an advocate for, victims of domestic violence, women, men,
Mhm.
no matter if it's a heterosexual, homosexual
That's right.
relationship, whatever it is. It could be your dog abusing you, babe. I got your back. Okay?
Mhm.
Call, just DM me and say, hey, Mello, help me out with some resources. I got numbers that you can call. The police will come get you and take you where you need to be.
Oh.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, It's resources out here, it's programs out here that are dedicated to domestic violence
Yes, it
victims
is.
that will not, they ain't gonna tell nobody where you at.
That's right.
Yeah.
They not gonna post it on no social media.
No,
Mhm.
They gonna provide you with 3 hots and cots.
Oh, yeah.
that's right.
Well, we got intern. Go ahead, Casey, then we'll go
And
there.
they gonna put you on probation.
Yeah,
You gonna have to buy you a book. You got to report
About
every
that
week.
man, you got to pay
You
them
got
money.
to pay them
You got
money
to pay
every
them
time
money
you
to
go to
probate your
class.
ass.
That's
Yeah. Like I said, you got
said
to.
it, probate
Hold on,
charge.
hold on, guys. Go
Okay.
ahead and then lobby
Okay.
you.
It was just one comment. Someone said not reacting comes with growth.
Yes,
right.
Yes,
That's
yes,
right.
and
That's
that's
right.
true. So, I don't know if this off the subject or on the subject,
Okay, let's hear it.
but probably off.
Yeah, you know.
Go ahead, go ahead, Lava.
That margarita, let that
I
margarita.
ain't even drinking like that. Anyway, so
Go
when
ahead.
so when a man choke you when you having sex, is that abuse?
What is
So
it?
yeah, we gon' that's
Yeah,
another day.
That's another day.
That's another
Yeah,
day.
right there.
So let's go back.
No, I like to be choked, man.
No,
When
it's
choke
another
me,
day.
man.
That's why I said it's another day.
That's abuse.
That's a,
No,
no, it
it's
ain't.
not.
That's
So
a
we wanna
different
keep,
choking.
we wanna keep back on this subject.
We gonna talk about it
On
another
another
time.
day. That's another day.
We gonna
Okay.
keep that in mind right now, though.
Drink your margarita, please.
All
Right, go
We gonna
ahead.
keep that in mind, though.
Right, that's
No,
right.
that's
Casey.
abuse. That's abuse. I don't like that. That's abuse.
That's some freaky shit.
That's abuse.
Right, go ahead. Wait, let's get our intern.
KT Nicole said that baby mama drama is a turn off for me. But
Yes.
instead of me putting my hands on a man, I won't do that because
I'm too
I'm
cute
not-
for all that.
Thank you, Milo. I'm too cute. That's right, girl. You are, Miss
That's
Tripp. You
right.
are.
Don't do it. Don't put your
in the
hands on
first
nobody.
place they go for is your face. I just get ghost. She got mad when I bought their son an iPhone for Christmas. I was like, you got to be kidding me, dumb.
Beatrice.
So bye to you
Dumb
and your ghetto, a baby mama. Plus he didn't defend me.
Oh,
It appears
yeah.
that y'all used to that
Stupid stuff.
Oh yeah,
toxicity.
walk away, baby.
Anyway.
That's
Right,
right.
walk
If
away.
the relationship is toxic, please walk away.
Right,
Right.
because again, it can escalate
Late
to a
something
physical
and
or and
Verbal.
Verbal.
Okay.
There are so many cases, and we were talking about before we even brought this subject abroad, was so many cases of where people lose their lives behind
Yes.
And let's talk
toxic
about that
relationship.
as we get ready to close out. Go ahead, Zoe. Sounds good.
where you can go into a situation one way
Mhm.
and the situation escalates to something totally different,
Yes,
to where you have someone who comes to take your life,
Mhm.
or you taking someone else's life behind something, relationship involved, friendship involved, and even families.
Yes.
We've seen cases of that too.
Mhm.
So we have to be very careful and know how to walk away
Yes.
and stop
I want to.
making toxic seem like it's the new thing
Right.
to
Like
do.
they're trying to play
There
like
you go.
I'm a bear.
That's
I'm
right.
bigger.
That's
I'm
right.
not gonna walk away. You're
Or-
not gonna pump me
Right.
out.
Or if you're
You're
not in
gonna-
something
right.
toxic, it's not something cool.
Right.
That's not it,
That
because
ain't
toxic
cool.
relationships
That's
that's
not
not love.
Nah,
That's not
that ain't
love. That's a bunch of headache, drama, and you waiting to go to jail.
That's
Or
right.
And you
jail
gonna
or
lose.
hell one.
Or you
And
gonna
then,
lose a
and
lot.
then we don't take it serious.
Yes.
You gonna
I
lose
want
a
you
lot.
guys to go out there and watch, and there's many movies out there, but I seen it last night in Mid Daylight, and it's Bow Wow in it is the
I seen it.
yeah,
A
and
tall
it's a
guy in it.
very
Mhm.
great
What's the name of it?
movie
I
in
forgot the name.
in Mid Daylight.
In mid daylight.
And
Yeah.
another one is Married to a Baller. That's a
Yes,
good
Married
one.
to a
Yeah,
Baller
that's
is a
a
good
good
one
That's
as
a
well.
good one, yeah.
Go out there and watch those very good movies, but we know these personal stories all too well.
Yes.
Where, like Zoe said, we family
Mm-hmm.
either I don't want to say support it, but people tend to tell you it couldn't be that bad,
Mhm.
or parents say, well, you know, maybe he didn't mean it, or he'll change, or he'll be, or it'll be
Yeah,
okay.
it's-
You're right.
It's all right.
Yeah.
There's just, I mean, either parents will say, well, I know you. What you know me, but you don't know him.
That's right.
So you may know my attitude, my behavior, my demeanor, but you don't know him.
Right, and it
So
still
we
doesn't
need-
excuse
It still doesn't.
what he does.
Absolutely.
And
So,
another thing, before, excuse me.
Go ahead,
there's another
okay,
thing, you know, when you start getting in a new relationship and everything,
Mhm.
make sure you read that red flag. Don't let that red flag go past you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Make sure you read all signs
Mhm.
for ladies and men, you know,
Hey.
for they're gonna give you a sign.
Yes.
And I wanna
care how
tell you
good
this.
they look, how nice
That's
they
It's
right.
like how good
How many
job
cars they
have,
got, what kind of
got,
good
what kind of
job, that's
restaurant
right.
how they
taking
dress,
you to.
whatever.
No,
Read that red
Yes.
flag.
because we'll ignore those flags because of what they bring to the
Right.
table.
Absolutely.
But you
guess
gotta
what?
appreciate what you bring to the table,
One
even
more
if it's just you.
Even if it's just your life.
That's
right.
That's that devil paint that picture.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They'll paint the pretty picture
Absolutely.
to
You
make you,
Yeah.
provoke you to
Yeah.
stay with that. You know what I mean?
Go
Don't
ahead,
raise my
Melo.
hand on
You,
that.
you
Don't
got
raise my hand on
Go
that.
ahead.
Okay.
You got to know what a red flag is before you start passing them out.
That's
What's
right.
Because sometimes a red flag ain't a red flag, it's just some shit you ain't used to.
That's
Right.
real, and
Right,
you gotta
right,
say
right.
it.
Say
Somebody
it.
tell you
You
something
gotta
like,
say it
when
now.
somebody tell you something like they want to be your piece,
Right.
that ain't no red flag.
That's right.
Right?
But for somebody who used to chaos and toxicity, it's a red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to know what the red
Yeah.
flag
You
is.
got to know what
Be
it
able
is.
to identify it before you can start passing them out.
That's
Because
right.
sometimes you passing out red flags and there ain't no red flags.
And I think
Yeah.
it's a green light.
Go ahead.
So it goes back to what Amanda always says, date your person,
To get
know
to know
your
your
person,
person.
spend time with your person
Yeah.
so that you'll know who you're dealing with.
That's
All
right.
this microwave,
Relationship,
overnight, I'm in love with you in
relationships,
2
yes.
days.
Watered down
Hey, you can fall in love in 2 days.
But
you-
All
Welcome
this-
to
all
the
this
lesbian
watered
world.
down.
It ain't even just a lesbian world, and we're not saying you can't fall in love,
They
but
got
what
a
we're
lot of
saying
watered
is,
down
in the
relationships.
in the midst of that, still date and get to know your
Yes,
person.
right.
It be so many
Right.
times that we will meet a person, and I'm guilty of it. Meet a person, date them, and the next day the folk don't move in. Y'all
Right.
ain't never
Oh, yeah,
separated
nah.
from each other.
They call you hauling.
Right. I mean, look, y'all don't met a person.
Spend every
Spend
day
every day with each
after
other
that.
after that.
Hey,
And then,
but
and
okay,
then all of
so-
a sudden y'all glued together and them folks have
And-
never left you, but you never got to know.
And get what?
your-
Boom.
Second,
And get what?
second,
Boom.
second.
That when all things
And
start
then
happening.
that's when the real, once you there for a while, the real person starts to show his.
Yeah,
Yeah.
show it. Yep.
You done got your
cannot-
credit card and ran your credit card.
Right, but you
The-
real.
you know,
They
you
stole
know,
your
the
identity,
stole
working
your
up on your
identity and
name.
everything.
That's right.
They got your unemployment.
Number one red flag.
What was you gonna say, Lava?
Number one red flag for me is I don't get along with my mother.
That's a good one.
If you don't get along with
Your
your
mama.
mother,
Something wrong.
something is wrong.
Well, some could be wrong on mama.
Yeah, that's
Some
true.
could be wrong on mama because
That's
we got
true.
plenty
Now, that's
mothers.
true.
We got plenty mothers.
As a
So-
man,
that don't need to
No,
be
Yeah.
no, no, as a
Yeah.
man and a woman,
Yeah,
we
but
need
for
to
both.
understand your history
Right.
behind
Yeah.
why you, and then you make that decision.
Decision,
I
right,
need
right,
to know
right, right.
what's the
'Cause your